stories have the ability to grant us further understanding of our own world, through the perspectives of the world which the author presents us with. They can be used as a way to transform ourselves and absorb us in a world which sheds light on issues or ideas that we have never thought about before. Through narratives, we are able to either challenge or affirm the social norms, values, and attitudes that surround our society and/or personal feelings. Through challenging our own personal and societal issues, we connect with a wider audience. Through narratives, we are able to reflect our own personal experiences and feelings. This is exactly what Michael Ondaatje has presented us with. In 2000, Michael Ondaatje published the book Anil's Ghost, which deals with the underlying themes of war. Anil's Ghost is based upon the consequences of the futility of war and its impacts on society. Moreover, Ondaatje challenges ideas about identity and the need for truth to make sense of the madness of war. How can anybody truly understand the ravages of civil war? Michael Ondaatje's Anil's Ghost presents us with a direct reflection of the author's own personal feelings and idealized romantic view towards his birth country Sri Lanka. Especially as humans, we have the urge to reconnect with the place we grew up in. Both Anil, our protagonist, and Ondaatje were present during the late 1980s to mid-1990s, when the Sri Lankan Civil War took place. Ondaatje focused on the issues people are faced with during the ravages of civil war. Ondaatje explores the ideas of identity loss and deceit, which is a common occurrence during the devastation of civil war. This is explicitly shown through the quote, "A person will walk through 100 doors to carry out the whims of the dead, not realizing he is burying himself from the others," where Ondaatje reflects the ideas that society as a whole endures as they begin to slowly lose their identity and humanity. Anil faces the gradual loss of her sense of self through the many challenges she is confronted with, whilst attempting to figure out what happened to Sailor, slowly burying herself from the others so she can carry out the whim of Sailor, but in turn she suffers the loss of her own identity. As humans, we hate not being told the truth. That's why Anil is so determined to find out what the government is truly doing and reveal it to the world. This is where the quote, "Secrets turn powerless in the open air" comes in. Society as a whole is urging for the truth to be revealed, and as the truth is heard, the secrets which were attempted to be hidden become powerless. This quote is extremely powerful. Not only does it relate to the real world, but it is an amazing portrayal of what it was like in the Civil War, and makes us realize how vital and personally easing it is to know the truth. So how does Ondaatje portray these ideas to us? Ondaatje uses an unorthodox novel structure to divide the book into 8 main sections, each primarily dealing with a specific character or subject. Additionally, most of the sections are introduced to us with a personal anecdote about the character or subject the chapter revolves around or relates to. These anecdotes are presented by a third-person narrator from the perspective of one of the characters, therefore creating a sense of desperation, which relates to the urgency individuals experience during the war to regain their own sense of identity. For example, in the beginning of the chapter The Mouse about Gamini, we are presented with the anecdote, "In diagnosing a vascular injury, a high index of suspicion is necessary." This shows us an extremely significant event which surrounds Gamini, but is not explained until further into the novel to create that sense of importance. The tonality throughout the novel also expresses the emotions and reactions of individuals during the Civil War. Ondaatje paints a tone of mystery and deceit, then changes from suspicion to hope and then to despair, creating this roller coaster of emotion for us as the readers to experience. During the Civil War of 1983 in Sri Lanka, the truth was something that was rarely seen, leading to a longing to know what was actually happening. Ondaatje attempts to depict this throughout his novel and mirror what society was truly like during the insurgency towards the government. Anil states at the end of the novel, "I think you murdered hundreds of us," creating that questioning and need for truth. Michael Ondaatje's novel Anil's Ghost directly correlates with the statement that stories have the power to challenge issues in the world. Ondaatje's novel impacts us majorly, creating questions in our mind about our world's humanity and how such cruelty during the Civil War left victims and survivors powerless and speechless. No one could ever truly fathom such a devastating event. Ondaatje leaves an emotional mark on us, creating an effect which will stick with us as people. Our perception of such events are forever changed.